All right, hello everyone. Uh, Thank you for joining me here. My name is Oscar Leon, and today I'm going to talk to you about religion and spirituality with a focus on Judaism, and that is both religion and spirituality and how it integrates in the business world, or more commonly known as the workplace. So we had an assignment as part of this project to read a chapter by Michael Dayan. In that chapter, he speaks about different religions, three major religions: Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, and the different perspectives to those three religions. And I guess the goal was to highlight how to solve conflict and highlight common values and the difference between um, the religions and how they define things that are right and wrong. And he also highlighted four potential dangers of bringing spirituality perspectives into the workplace, and which I have listed here. And it's the danger of proselytism, the issue of compatibility, the risk of spirituality becoming a fad or management tool to manipulate employees, and the legitimacy problem the field of spirituality at work faces in theory, research, and practice. And I'm gonna go through each of these four dangers throughout the course of this presentation. All right, so the first one we'll talk about is the danger of proselytism. And proselytism is basically trying to impose a religious belief or a religion on another person, a group of people that are obviously not part of the same religion as the other person is. So how do we protect against that? And it's highlighted in the chapter through the means of a declaration that was initiated in 1984 and signed in 1993. And there were discussions had by some world leaders, researchers, and they were part of the three monotheist religions, as I mentioned before, which are Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. And the goal was to reinforce moral and spirituality found by all three religions and the values that they shared in that context. And code of ethics for international business was very important because it involved the globalization in business. So if we were going to do, our business on a worldwide level or ramp up the levels of, there needed to be a code of ethics. And this declaration was also designed to address globalization of economic changes and to increase high moral standards in business practices and reinforce moral and spiritual values shared by the three monotheist religions, as I mentioned before, in order to overcome prejudices that members of one or the other community may have towards the other. So there's the protection outlined in this particular declaration, basically clearly drawing a distinction between the three, and highlighting that each person needs to be respected within. So the issue of compatibility, how was it addressed? Well, it was addressed also in the declaration initiated in 1984. As I mentioned, within those values that I highlighted, there are aspects of basically respect, how to respect one another's belief. And let's not focus on the differences, but let's focus on the common values. And specifically in Judaism, the belief is that justice is central to all human relationships. So basically, regardless of religious beliefs, justice is something that everyone has a right to. The risk of spirituality becoming a fad or management tool to manipulate employees is something that I found very interesting because I personally like the idea of integrating spirituality at the workplace because of the obvious benefits that we have encountered throughout the course of this class and ones that I will highlight later in this presentation. But how do you risk against skeptics, right? So natural human tendency that anything new or any change, you're going to have skepticism, or you're going to feel some sort of way about it where you don't truly believe in it. But in Judaism, they believe that unfair competition is forbidden. So manipulation is unfair competition, right? You're not giving me an even playing field. You're actually trying to adjust the way that I think for your benefit and not mine. So healthy competition amongst traders is a religious requirement in order to maintain common good and public interest, right? So that's a healthy way of doing business. Respect for one another, and that we're both on the same playing field. Judaism also believes that it's important that employees conform to local customs established or accepted by the state. So, in other words, respect my rights, right? If I'm the employee, you need to recognize me as someone with rights. And manipulation, obviously, is unfair and compromises my rights as an employee. The legitimacy problem the field of spirituality at work faces in theory, research, and practice, right? So we were talking about before the benefits of spirituality. How is it legit? Well, there are certain factors that the chapter covers on legitimacy, and that is that spirituality at work responds to current needs in society. So, how do we become more connected with our colleagues or people that we work with? Apparently, spirituality helps solve the problem with that, and it addresses spiritual values in communities. Right. So that's one of the things that I struggle with too. And I get the sense that many others do as well, just based on our discussions in class, is that the separation between our workplace and our personal lives. So, on a personal level, you might be a spiritual person and you have values on a personal level. But to make that connection to the workplace is by integrating spirituality at the workplace. You feel more comfortable. You feel more like yourself. You can let your guard down a little bit. Maybe that's not a good reference, but something that makes you feel more comfortable at work. Spirituality enhances employee well-being and the quality of life, right? Very much the same what we were talking about before. So because of all these benefits, it actually makes you feel better. You increase your productivity, you increase your focus, you want to do more, go the extra mile for the customer, for your colleague, for yourself. Spirituality provides employees a sense of purpose and meaning at work, which is very important. That's a challenge. How do I become more in tune with my responsibilities at work, and can I connect who I am as a person and who I am as an employee? And if you can do that, spirituality at work suggests that making that integration helps facilitate that for an employee, therefore giving you a sense of more wholeness or feeling like you're in the right place. And lastly, spirituality provides employees a sense of interconnectedness and community, right? So it's true. If you're able to eliminate that divide that exists between your personal life and the workplace, so there's no more barriers, right? You actually feel more connected to yourself as a person. You feel more authentic as a person. You feel more connected between who you are on a professional level and also on a personal level. That concludes the end of my presentation. I thank you for your time, everyone. I just want to say that in conclusion, overall, this is a topic that I find very, very fascinating because of the benefits highlighted in bringing spirituality at the workplace. This particular project has helped me open my eyes a little bit, even to the idea of possibly integrating some sort of religious aspects to the workplace, which to me is a challenge. I always thought that spirituality equals religion. I come to find out that's not necessarily the case, although that it can be. I'm more interested in spirituality at the workplace, although obviously there are benefits in integrating religion into the workplace as well. But as we see the dangers of doing that in politics, it'll be something that I find or that I'm looking forward to in discovering more information on how could we actually do that, if possible, at the workplace. But thank you for your time. I appreciate it, and looking forward to other lessons in this class.